Nowadays, when you think of the word SUV, you think of cars like the Honda CR-V, or maybe the Mazda CX-9 or CX-5. Now when I think of SUVs, I think of the longest continuously running nameplate in the entire auto industry, and that's this big boy, the Chevrolet Suburban. Now I say this car is the longest continuously running nameplate, and that holds true. Cars like the Corvette and the 911 have been around for 50 or 60 years, but that number gets trumped in comparison to the Suburban, which has been here since 1933. Now, it started off as a project for the National Guard. They wanted a truck, but they needed an enclosed body and room for 8 people. Nearly 82 years later, the Suburban holds to those same values. It is now in its 12th generation, this car here being the 10th, going from 2000 until 2006. Now, the Suburban will hit 60 in about 8.3 seconds. Not particularly great, but that's what the type of truck this is. Now, it is powered by a 5.3-liter Vortec V8. No turbos, no direct injection, just a good old Chevy small block. Very smooth, loads of low-end power. 295 horsepower and 330 pound-foot of torque. It's nice to see that torque number at or even above your horsepower. That makes it really nice for the city, especially when you're towing something that's very nice and easy. Now, your MPG is not great, but it's not terrible either. You're looking at about 17 city, 13 highway. Now, this car can also be using E85 ethanol, in which case you'll actually drop it a little, go down to about 913. However, E85 gas does have a higher octane than regular E87. It's around 100, which is almost the same as race fuel, so you get a lot of extra power and torque, and it's incredibly inexpensive. Right now, it's about $1.50 a gallon, and that's continuing to drop. So, more power for less price is always nice. Now, compared to other vehicles in the SUV segment, the Suburban is truly full size. That means you can fit up to 3 people, and not only the front, the middle, but also the rear section. Now, in addition to that, you also have a ginormous trunk for 3 very incredibly heavy boxes. Now, compare this to the Navigator I reviewed just a couple months ago. This is bigger even when that car had its 3rd row folded down. Now, as a disadvantage, the Suburban does not have an independent rear suspension. It has a solid live axle. And that means these seats, unlike the Navigator, cannot fold flat. However, if you wanted to remove them, it's a simple 2 switches, and they can be stored away. Now, the Suburban is based off GM's GMT 800 platform, which is the same platform they use for their Silverados, Siennas, Yukons, Escalades, Tahoes, and even Hummer H2. So it is very truckish in here. It's by no means a Mercedes. That being said, you do have some nice wood here, nice leather seating, you have AM, FM, even XM radio. Now you're stuck to a 4-speed automatic. GM really held on to those 4 speeds for a long time. Now it does have a trade-in mode right up here, but there's no manual mode there whatsoever. Of course, no driving modes in a car like this. Now I do like having your transmission stock up here because you only use it really essentially twice when you drive, and that frees up this whole center console for a nice big area, good cup holders here. In this case, even a 3rd seat up in the front. Now I said this is based off a truck platform, and it drives a lot like that. It's not particularly exciting, fast, anything like that. You wouldn't really expect it. It's a full-size SUV. It's very heavy. It's about 7,000 pounds. You got to keep that in mind when you're driving it. That being said, it's very smooth. Like I said, that motor is a really good motor. You have all that torque on the high end, and this thing can tow anything with ease. You're looking at around 8,000 up to 9,500 pounds as far as your towing capacity. Now, this car only has 150,000 miles on it, and that's really not a lot for a car of this era. These motors can go on forever and ever. These Chevy small blocks really are proven, and they can go for a long time and really not let you down. Now, for this truck having the longest continuously running name, it's just about the longest size as well. It was only dwarfed in size by the Ford Excursion when it came out, 220 inches in length. That's nearly 19 feet. And you get all this steel for a pretty good price. This car was about $36,000 in 2004. 10 years down the road, they're about $50,000 base, which isn't too bad. That being said, for this 10th generation car, you can go from anywhere $2,000-$3,000 up to around the 10s, of course, depending options, trim level, something like that. And when you think about it, that's a really great value for so much that you're getting. You have a huge amount of steel behind you. You can tow just about anything. You can fit an entire family, all the family luggage for vacations, and you get a really dependable powertrain. And overall, one of the best SUVs that's ever come out of America.